Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, days like this, I just need to get right into my photos. I gotta get right into my pictures. Oh, my photos. I think the most brilliant thing that ever happened was that someone figured out a way to upload your photos to the internet, and then you can see those pictures anywhere, privately. I don't want you all to see all my pictures. The ones I do, of course, go to Instagram and that kind of stuff.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But, I needed to go, because just craziness over the weekend.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Part of my job is acting like Sherlock Holmes and figuring out what happened over a thing called a 4-day weekend where people do some things that other people weren't put in the loop about. And then I come in and people start to shout at my job. They start to shout at me and they go,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What happened? And I'm like, what? Huh? So yeah, it's getting caught up.
Mike's
And now
Daily
it appears
Podcast.
we're caught up.
Yeah!
But yeah, makes me want to go back to that 4-day weekend. Oh, what fun it was. Here it is, episode 1772. That sounds like an interesting year. Was that when America was started? I don't know. But why am I ending every sentence up? I don't know. There I stopped. Broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on Earth. There are people here at Cafe Anyway already here. They wanted to say hi. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you doing? And I brought my horse Lily.
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what. I heard y'all went to the country over the 4-day weekend and Christmas.
I did. I went to the country. Went to the country. Picked myself some peaches. No, I didn't do that, but that was the song by the presidents of the United States of America. Hey, I got to see Jeremy. To those of you who have listened to this podcast for over a long time, Jeremy used to be on in 2015 and 2016 on this podcast. So I got to see him.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Yesterday, I didn't record a thing with him. Oh, well. But if you want to hear some of the classic Jeremy Mike's Daily Podcasts, please go to the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and you can go back in time and listen. I have all the archives there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. You can go back and listen to old shows. If you're trying to find an old show and for some reason I don't have it out there, please let me know. You can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. The podcast picture today, my lovely lady friend, she took a really fun picture of me the day of the trip that we were leaving, and I did not want to get up. You know, I get up at 4 a.m. all week, and here it is Saturday, and I do just want to sleep in. But so what I want to do is, but we had to get going. This is going to be fun. Okay. This is for the radio nerds. I don't know if you listen to the show and you go, how does Mike do all those sound effects? How does he make his podcast sound so gosh darn good? Well, my friend, I am magical. But also, I have this love of radio that I've had since my teen years. And not before that. Pretty much teen years. I didn't spring from the womb wanting to be on the radio, but as some people I work with have, I've always wanted to be in radio. Radio is all I ever wanted to do. I built my own radio station in my bedroom when I was 4. I hear that a lot. No, I got into it later on. But the podcast picture today is of a radio station in Shasta. Because yesterday we had the picture of Mount Shasta. Today, which you couldn't really see very well because it's white. It's covered in white. It's covered in snow. And then the sky behind it was white. So this podcast picture is of a radio station in Shasta, and it's right off the main strip. This is very northern exposure and Chris in the Mornings and K-Bear, but this is called Z100, and it's in Shasta. And it's so funny, they turned the monitor of the station, the playlist monitor, because all stations now are on computer. Very few are actually where they hand play the music. All the music is usually on a hard drive now, as it probably is now on your own hard drive in your little phone, or perhaps it's on the hard drive up in the cloud, or perhaps you're listening to someone else's hard drive, like you're listening to Spotify. But the point is, they've got this cool monitor showing you what the station's playing. At any rate, I took a picture because the blinds were open, and I'm telling my girlfriend, "Oh my God, this is a radio station! Look at it!" And I took a picture. So you can see that picture now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. I believe, by the way, if you want to be technical, if you're looking at the monitor on the left-hand side of the picture, that is a touch screen. That's a touch screen monitor for that system. It's called Scott Studios. I used a similar one in Alabama when I had the radio station The Wolf, 93.3, The Wolf, and and that was the country station that I did for about a year until Cumulus decided to go and become idiots. So what happened was, and then there was the economic downturn was going on and all kinds of craziness. And then suddenly I start hearing on their radio station this guy who sounded way more Alabaman than me. And then I'm thinking, wait, then why did I move all the way to Alabama if what they wanted was a guy that was from Alabama? And jeez. But we won't go into that today because we're busy. Oh, look at this. This is a paper with absolutely nothing on it because I do not have any notes. Oh my gosh, there's been nothing on my mind lately. I have a blank slate. This is fantastic. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I don't have anything to say about Trump talking to the troops in another country. It's like, he was being Trump. This is what half the population voted for, or what the Electoral College voted for. I don't know. Somehow he's president. So this is what they wanted, and this is what we got. And in 2 years, if he's still our president, this is apparently what the Russians want and continue to want. So he talked to the troops, and he gave them a little pep talk, and then complained and moaned, and what's the word? It rhymes with itch, about the Democrats not giving him a border wall. It was so sad. And that's what he did. And then we've got children dying at our borders. They want to come in. And look, I don't necessarily agree with their parents taking them to the border and then processing themselves. I understand desperate times cause people to desperate things. But to bring your kid along with that, I don't agree with that. But somehow, this happened to this poor child, and he got sick and he died. And, I'm mad at his parents for putting him through that. I'm mad at whatever country he came from that made it so crappy for this family that they had to run to America. And I'm mad at us for not processing, handling them, embracing them, whatever you want to say, much better. But at any rate, this is a story. They cover it constantly on NPR, and it hurts me. I hate it. But there's some other people here at Cafe Anyway that want to cheer us up. Look, they're pouring us a root beer right now. How great is that?
Oh, Mike, I make the delicious root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy. Drink some or I'll cut you.
No, that's okay. You can cut me.
All right.
You just have a toothpick. You're poking me with a toothpick.
Ah!
You're crazy. Hey, Kevin, he used to do Addendum with Kevin, like the little picture of my lovely lady friend and I on Facebook. And that's the only thing I care about on Facebook. Goodbye, Facebook. I've deleted you forever. Goodbye. Hey, that's pretty much the show today, my friend. Oh, that, and I was listening to All Things Politics, once a wonderful NPR podcast. It had Ken Rudin on it and that other guy. It was so... Ron Elving. It was such a good podcast. I listened to it for many years, and then I guess NPR told the guys, you're too old, get out of here. We're going to get some young people to talk politics. Well, these young people took over the show. I didn't listen to it after that until recently. I started listening to it a little bit, and then they talked about political songs. On the last podcast, they talked, hey, let's talk about political songs. Oh, by the way, speaking of great podcasts, the New York Times, don't listen to any of their, the Daily, it's called The Daily. Don't listen to any of their most recent podcasts because they're awful. Except if you listen to the one they did, I think it was on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, earlier in the week, or maybe it was last Friday. They did this thing, the sound engineer person got all these clips from 2018 and plays them back to back to back. All these things, you know, the shooting in Florida, the all the people leaving Trump's cabinet, and all the rest. It's fantastic. It depresses me to hear it, so I could only listen to about halfway. And I listened to the whole thing last year. They did the same thing last year. It was just riveting. Whoever does the sound for them is just amazing. I don't know if he uses the Scott Studios, but back to the All Things Politics podcast on NPR. So they talk about political songs. Today we're going to talk about political songs. And I'm thinking, oh, you're going to talk about Pete Seeger. You're going to talk about Bruce Springsteen. Maybe some Jackson Brown got political. Warren Zevon. Maybe you'll talk about Green Day and their political album. What's the one? Oh, I can't think of the one. The guy Tom Morello was with. Not the first one. Not the second one. Oh, I'm drawing a blank big time. I want to say Death Cab for Cutie, but it's something like that. Anyway, the cafe. Anyway, they're talking about Beyonce doing political songs. All right, that's great. Anyway, cafe. Anyway, I'm glad she's gotten political and she's doing political songs. I often enjoy listening to political songs. They talk about an era, a time that, you know, it brings us back. But you know, Beatles, talk about maybe that. But no, they're talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z, and then Childish Gambino. And I'm thinking, where are the classic protest people? Anyway, that's Cafe Anyway. That's my little rant about that awful podcast.
Anyway.
With a bunch of young people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Hey, I'm a little young, or I used to be, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but hey, I'm glad I got that off my chest, and I hope you enjoyed today's podcast picture of that radio station. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Have a great day. Rage Against the Machine.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!